The first thing we do is look at what's already performing well. And I look for places where maybe you can tweak that a little bit and amplify the income so that everything just works easier. You are listening to Amplify Your Success Podcast, episode 260. And today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of my 90-day acceleration process to show you how 90 days of business coaching can fix your cash flow. You ready for this? Let's get started. Welcome to the Amplify Your Success Podcast. Get ready to ramp up your revenue, amplify your impact, and make your mark in the world. This is the show for experts, thought leaders, and service professionals who want to shatter their limits and achieve that next level. You're going to find out from other experts and influencers how they made it. Now, let's get amplified. Hi there, inspired entrepreneurs and business leaders. Your host, Melanie Benson here, authority amplifier to expert-based business owners. And I want to tackle something because as this episode is airing, everybody starts to talk about goals, wrapping up the year, figuring out what you want to do for next year. Inside my mastermind and in my VIP programs, everybody's focused on strategic planning for the new year. And a lot of times I've noticed that people think about how can I accelerate my results in just a quick amount of time. I like to think of things in 90-day increments. And so today I'm going to talk through what could happen with 90 days of my business coaching and how it can fix your cash flow. It can help you shatter revenue goals. There's a lot of cool stuff that can happen when you follow the steps that I take somebody through in the first 90 days of coaching. So let me give you a little behind the scenes tour of what could happen for you if you are working with the right business coach. Some of the things I'm going to talk about today, you can find in my Profit Explosion Toolkit. My Profit Explosion Toolkit is the same system I use with every single client, whether they are investing $12,500 for a VIP day and package with me, or they're looking at a mastermind investment, or they're just simply joining the Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle, whatever program. I just want you to know I use this with every single client. It is our foundation. And that's because I take people through 4 steps. What's the goal? What is it that you really want to accomplish? What is the focus? What are you going to focus on to get to that goal? And what are you going to offer in each month and each quarter that's going to help you achieve your goals, which almost often are financial goals? And then last, how are you going to organize your marketing effort so that you achieve those financial and sales goals? So it's a very simple process, but it is revolutionary because people start to uncover how they're focusing on the wrong parts of their business. So that is a tool that you can get right now. And if you're catching this during the holidays, it's on special. Okay, so Profit Explosion Toolkit, I'll link that up in the show notes if you want to get a copy of it. It is on radical sale over the holidays, so you want to check that out. It's always a great deal, but definitely want to check that out right now. So let's talk about what could happen for you with 90 days of really powerful business coaching. When I'm working with a client, as I mentioned, I take them through these 4 steps. I'm always starting with what do you want and what's in the way. And the reason why I do that is because oftentimes what's in the way is in your blind spot. And so I start with getting clear on what does somebody want to accomplish. So sometimes it's like, I want to launch a podcast, or I want to be able to double my sales, or I want to be able to have a business where I don't have to be selling my time anymore to make money. A lot of my clients come to me confused because they know they have all the right ingredients, but they're not performing well. So we have to start with what do you want? Get really crystal clear what a great outcome looks like. Now, figuring out what's in the way means we've got to look at mindset, we got to look at process, and we got to look at what your role is and how well that, let's just say, that brand is being communicated to your target audience. So this is where clarity comes in. Clarity of offer, clarity of message, clarity of value, and clarity of what you need to be doing to amplify the reach and the revenue from those offers. So clarity plays a huge role. And I find I've been coaching people for 21 years now. I cannot believe every time I say that it's 21 years. But what I find is that clarity is oftentimes what's missing. Even if you know what you're doing, if stuff stops working, you can immediately drop into confusion and feeling like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to fix it because it seems like everything should be working. Clarity is what gives you confidence, and that confidence gives you momentum. So clarity. The second thing I look at is how you're pricing your offers. So believe it or not, how you are pricing your offers can have a huge impact on your stress, on how well your offers are performing, and on how much income you can generate in the business. I've been working with a client. We've been working together about 90 days. And one of the first things we started with, because he wanted to have a business that didn't just depend on him to produce revenue. So we started to evaluate I start with how do I double the revenue? And I uncovered that the value that he was delivering to his clients was massively underrepresented in what he charged. And so the first thing we did is I doubled his income by doubling his rates. Now, I know you might get a little queasy and think, oh my God, can I do that? Yeah, most people can. Most people are not charging the value of the result they provide for a client. They don't even understand how to uncover that. So that's the second pillar I'm looking for, is like, where can we create fast cash in your business by getting you clear on the value that you provide, the value you deliver, and then helping you package that differently and position that so it's easy for your clients to say yes to that. My client, you'll meet him soon on the podcast here, but my client was so shocked at how many people said yes so easily when he basically doubled his rate and said, like, this is my new rate. And they're like, yeah, you're worth every penny. So when you get clear what your value is, it's so much easier to give yourself a raise. And that's where you will find a quick burst of revenue potential. Now, the third thing I'm looking for is, how do we get you to consistent, predictable cash flow? So this is where I look at what I call the unique profit amplifier. What is the thing that you offer that when you offer it, it actually produces a need for more of what you sell, more of the offer. So sometimes it's like an initial offer that helps people understand what you do, and then they're going to want to join your mastermind or ongoing group coaching, or set up a retainer with you for ongoing support. So there's a lot of different ways to get there. And this in itself will revolutionize your business, having those three things clear. But the next piece is where I find that major transformation can happen. And this is the kind of transformation where many people start with me saying, I feel invisible. Like, I know I have good stuff, but people don't get it. Like, I feel like a best kept secret. This next piece, this is the gold. And that is your messaging. So the next piece, once we have the foundation set, the next piece is, now how do we recalibrate or magnetize, I like to call it, your message, so that you are a magnet for ideal clients? When you show up on a stage, when you get on a podcast, when you have any kind of presence in your messaging, from your freebies to your offers to just even talking about what you do, someone's like, boom, that's for me. I totally get what you do. And I need that. And I'm going to hire you, or I'm going to join your program, or I'm going to buy your product. And that is where the messaging comes in. Now, the reason I do messaging fourth is sometimes somebody would come to me and say, my messaging's awful. It needs to be fixed. And then what I realized is the other things were the problem. And if we started with messaging, because they don't know how to communicate what they do, or the way they're communicating isn't getting the results they want, then I fix the messaging and then have to go back and fix the messaging again when we get to the right offer. And this is the value of working with a coach, that really understands how to diagnose the problem. Because if you start fixing the wrong problem, you're going to go down a rabbit hole and not necessarily get the traction you're looking for. So these are the first 4 things that we have to do to help you really transform your cash flow. Clarity of what your offer is and what where your cash flow is going to come from. Now, inside clarity, there's one more thing I should have mentioned. And this is sometimes a bit vague or unclear to the entrepreneur I'm working with. And that is, you need to really understand who your ideal client really is and who they're not. And what I oftentimes get to next is fine tuning. So once we get these foundations in place, the next piece, which usually happens in month 3, and sometimes it slides into month 4, is, all right, so who really is the ideal client, and how are we going to get you in front of those audiences with this great message, with this, the perfectly crafted positioning of your price and your offer, with a magnetic message. Now we got to get you in front of the right audiences. So we got to know who they are, because I love podcasts. I love guesting on podcasts. These are 2 of my go-to strategies. But if I'm getting you on the wrong podcast and I'm helping you build a message and you're taking it to an uber popular podcast that's not your audience, it won't matter how good all the rest of it is. You're going to feel like it's not working. So that's why this last step is all about getting you in front of the right audiences. Okay, so that's what we do in 90 days. Get you clear, get you focused, make sure your pricing is right, get you a quick burst of cash flow, magnetize the message so that your messaging just snaps and pops when you get it out there in the market, and then get you in front of the right audiences. Now, let's say, and sometimes we get to this in the first 90 days, but the last piece of this is oftentimes, now, how are you going to sell it? Going back to this client I've been working with, when we gave him a raise and doubled his prices, the first thing he said to me is, Melanie, I don't know how to confidently make that offer to a potential client and stand behind it and not get nervous and cave. So we worked on what I call the 0 friction sales process. How are you going to build the value of what you do clearly to your ideal client so that this is a no-brainer for them? How are you going to structure the conversation? How are you going to make an offer to get on a consultation with them so the value is crystal clear? So the last step that always has to happen is, let's get your sales process tuned in. Now, let's check in. Be honest with me. Is selling something that you enjoy? Like, do you love getting on the phone with somebody and having an exploration to see if they're a good fit with you? Or is this something that you dread and maybe it feels awkward to you? You feel that lack of confidence trying to soar through your body. Maybe you find a million other things to do rather than follow up with prospects. Where does that land for you? Because how you feel about selling makes a huge difference. It's why I built out a whole system to follow, because a lack of confidence breeds a lack of action. Honestly, if you don't know what to do, you're not going to do anything, right? But if you know what to do and you know how to structure a conversation in a way that you're going to get better results, and you know in your mind that you are solving someone's important problem instead of feeling like, yeah, I'm going to sell somebody on something whether they need it or not. Like, that doesn't feel good to anybody. Getting your mindset in the right place is key. Now, let me give you a bonus step that in those first 90 days, if you're working with the right coach, this should absolutely be a part of what you're doing. And that is looking at the beliefs, the ideas, and the paradigm that you operate from as an entrepreneur or business person or whatever you call yourself. Here's how I like to think of mindset. If you're trying to drive a Ferrari or even just a Mercedes or some kind of really beautiful car, and you show up with that car, but you put a moped engine in it and you expect that car to perform, you're gonna get nothing. Nothing, nada. It's not gonna work. But when you show up with the right engine and the right fuel, you're going to soar. And what happens for so many people is they're trying to accelerate the business results. They want to make more money. They want to impact more lives. They want to have more joy while they run their business. They want to have more life, freedom for life, priorities and things they value. But yet they're showing up full of limits and fears and worries and conflicts, and it's not going anywhere. I was just doing a call with the Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle, and we were talking about what's really in the way. You know what the number one thing that they discovered was in their way this year was conflict. I feel conflicted about what I might lose if I grow the success of my business. And the reason why that conflict is there, I'm going to do a whole episode on this in the new year, but the reason why that conflict is there is because the way you're trying to grow your business is not sustainable. And it's robbing you of the things that you love and enjoy. You're not in your superpower. You're not having time for what's important. And this is the old archaic model that keeps people trapped in a job instead of having a business they love. And this is the Amplify model, is to amplify the work you do in the world in a way that creates space for what's important to you. So this is what we do in 90 days. We unlock the most powerful part of you, turn on the turbochargers, supercharge your clarity and your confidence so you go out and do the things that have the greatest impact. You're moving the needle and you're getting results. Okay, now, not everybody's going to get the same results in 90 days. My client doubled his income in the first 6 weeks we worked together. Some of my clients, they got to retool some things, and they're just more, digging and clarifying, and so it takes a little bit longer. It really depends on where you're at. So I want you to know, wherever you're at, the key is decide what you want, and then commit to the process and move the process forward quickly. Okay, now, if you're thinking to yourself, Melanie, I got to do this. This is what I want. Then I want you to check out Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle. Now, Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle is a very, very powerful incubator for that next level of success. And it's really meant for people who know they have an expertise, they feel like a bit of a best kept secret, and they want to just take off in the next year. I integrate 3 really key strategies. 1, proven systems that you can customize to your business. They're available in on-demand trainings. 2, coaching in a group environment and get customized solutions for you, but you hear great breakthroughs from your peers. And 3, the power of collaboration currency, integrating opportunities for you to connect with and build relationships with others who can open doors to their markets. You can cross promote, you can get on each other's shows. These are people who are all experts, and they've all got ways that they can support each other. So if that's something that's interesting to you, if you're exploring the best mastermind or coach, start there, amplifyinnercircle.com, that you can make the next 90 days shatter all of your limits and get you on a trajectory for the best year of your life. You ready for this? Let's do it. Thanks for tuning in today, Amplifier. Be sure to join us right now in the Amplify Your Authority community at authorityamplifiers.com, and I'll share my 7 proven tips to be a highly paid expert that stands out in a crowded market. Plus, we're going to keep this conversation going, and I want to hear from you how you're going to amplify your authority and make a greater impact. Before you go, please take a minute to give our show and our guests some love over on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe, rate, and review. Leave your full name, and I'll spotlight you and your authority on social media.